Howdy folks, we're live. This is the first O'Brien Guitars Shop Talk live stream of the year, and Happy New Year. You made it. We all got through 2020 and here we are in 2021. And I appreciate you spending your time with me here on this holiday, January 1st of 2021. Taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to spend some time with me, Robert O'Brien from O'Brien Guitars. And it never ceases to amaze me. I'm following off screen here. It never ceases to amaze me the comments that I get here in the chat box and where they come from. It's amazing. I mean, just starting off the top of the list here, David Schramm, howdy y'all. David, how you doing? I've got to say a little something about David. He was the first one to sign in here, so congratulations, David. But years and years ago, when I was living in Brazil and I started making guitars, I went out to the internet, and the internet was just in its infancy back then. And I started searching around for information, and there wasn't a lot of information out there. There were basically two sites. One of them was Frank Ford's site, frets.com. And the other one was David Schramm's site called Online Apprentice. And I tell you what, I learned a lot from you, David, from the information that you put out there. Back then, I think it was just kind of Word doc and pictures kind of thing. But thank you so much for doing that, because you know, I was just sitting at my computer down in Brazil and I had no access to information. So thank you very much for that. I certainly appreciate that. Larry Atha down there in Alabama, welcome aboard. Bonnie, happy 2021 from Havana, Florida. Danny, happy New Year. Robert from North Carolina, happy New Year from Flagstaff. San Diego, Itamar Rodriguez, I assume you're from Brazil. Happy New Year. Feliz Ano Novo. Dukester Hockey, that's my son. Yo, yo, yo. Typical comment from a teenager there, but a shout out to my son there. He helps keep me up and running here. This is quite a stretch for me technologically to hook up all these cameras and get everything running and run it through all the software and broadcast it out through YouTube. So thanks to my son for helping me out there. My wife Adriana says hello, Feliz Ano Novo. She's also helping me monitor things here, and who knows, maybe she'll bring down a cup of coffee here shortly. Tim Morgan, hello Robbie, happy New Year everyone from Cape Girardeau in Missouri. Dwayne, hello everyone. Lutherie de Pobre, that would be my friend Jonatas down there in Brazil. Thank you, Jonatas, for tuning in. Let's see. Well, this thing just scrolled up on me here, so wow. Jeff Smith, Greensboro. Raymond, happy B-years to you all. Jeff Smith, Danny, what part of Piedmont? Dirty Knobs, hello. Hey, Dirty Knobs, thanks for tuning in there. Somebody from the Ukraine, hello, Ukraine, thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year from Toronto. Good evening and Happy New Year from all of the UK. Fife, Washington, that's where Raymond's from. Happy New Year, Carl Chalmers, thanks for tuning in. David Schramm, well, I didn't know that, Robbie. That was early 2000. Great to be here. Yes, that was. No, I think it was actually before that. I think it was probably 1997 or 98, somewhere in there. It might have been around 2000, but I think it was early 2000. José Pereira Filho, felicidades para todos do Brasil. Let's see. Boy, we got a whole bunch of people here. I'm going to go crazy just reading all this stuff. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I certainly appreciate it. I hope I've got some great information, a little bit of fun here for you, take your mind off of things. We're going to be doing a couple of new things here. I've got Cesar Tessarin down there in Brazil. He's helping me monitor this chat here today and this stream. And we're going to do a little giveaway. And he's monitored it all the way down there in São Paulo, Brazil. You notice at the top of the chat box there's a pinned message from Cesar Tessarin that is a Google form. We're going to be doing a giveaway. And if you want to be enrolled for the giveaway, it's free. You don't have to pay anything, do anything. It's free. You got to click on that form, though, and put your name and email address so that we can do the drawing. And that way we can contact you. So we're going to be doing a little drawing here. So make sure that you click on that little form there at the top, fill it out, and name and email address. And Cesar, he's going to be typing in here. He says Happy New Year, everyone. He's going to let me know if that's actually getting done. So Cesar, keep an eye on that for me, if you will. Also, we're going to be doing the next stream. I'm going to go ahead and announce it. The next live stream Holy cows. The natives are getting restless up there in the kitchen. Something tipped over up there. I hope you guys didn't hear that. The next live stream is going to be on Saturday, I believe, January 9th at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And that is going to be the guest of honor that time, or the victim, depending on how you look at it, is Chris Herod of LMI. And the topic is going to be tone woods. Now, if you want to pick somebody's brains about tone woods, Chris is the guy. He purchases a lot of tone woods out there at LMI, and he can tell you anything you need to know about tone woods. Man, looks like my wife just showed up down here. 3 entries so far, Cesar says down there in Brazil, and boy, that's going to be, you got a third of a chance to win if there's only 3 people signed up. So you guys make sure you click on that little link at the top of the chat box there, and make sure you put in your name and your email address. And my wife just showed up. She's also known as the girl from Ipanema and Miss Brazil, and she has brought, what have you brought me there? Oh, look at that. She brought me a mug of coffee. Oh, by the way, oh, you brought some down. Okay. By the way, I got an email recently from somebody that watches my live chats, and I usually have a cup of coffee during the live chats, and I know that some of my viewers out there do too. Now, I'm not a real coffee aficionado. I drink milk with a splash of coffee. Most people drink coffee with a splash of milk or black like my wife, like the Brazilians do. And somebody sent me an email recently and said, hey, what brand of coffee are you drinking? And I am drinking the Melita brand, Extra Forte. I get it in Brazil when I go to Brazil, and I just, when I go down, I'm usually taking things down for the relatives, and so the suitcases are full. When I come back, suitcases are empty. Guess what I bring? Coffee and chocolate. So I get the Melita brand or the Pilão brand, and it's not very high end, but it is very good. And I found it recently on Amazon, and I think I can put that in the chat box here, a link to it if you're interested. By the way, if you do purchase any coffee or any link that I mention here, it helps keep the lights on here at O'Brien Guitars, helps support it. So full disclosure here, I'm part of the Amazon affiliate program. So if you want to get that through Amazon, you certainly can, and it helps support O'Brien Guitars. So thank you very much. Let's see, a well-known luthier buddy is getting his tuners from your friend in Brazil. That would be VS Tuners. Victor down there in Sao Paulo, he makes some fantastic tuners. We have somebody from Finland. Happy New Year from Finland. Thanks for joining in. Let's see, what will the winner get for the giveaway? Oh, that's my son asking that, Dukester Hockey. He's asking because I guess he wants to figure out if it's worth his time to sign up. What I'm going to be giving away is my sharpening online course. And that's a very popular course. You got to work sharp. And so my online sharpening course will be given away. How do you brew the coffee is a question from Jim Martinez. You want to explain that, Adriana? Why don't you step over and explain? I'll let my wife get on camera, and she can explain how she brews the coffee. This is Miss Brazil, also known as Adriana. And there's a microphone right here, so you can just talk right there.
I just use the coffee maker, and I put a tablespoon of coffee and a cup of water. That's it. On that one there, that's maybe 2 tablespoons on that one that I made.
Double the recipe? Or?
I doubled because I put for you and me.
Yeah, and she even frosts the milk for me. I mean, that's special right there. And she puts a little cinnamon on there too.
Yeah, put some cinnamon. Yeah. No sugar for me. A little bit of sugar for
Just
him.
Really, very, very little sugar. So that's how you brew it. Now, you want to explain how you do it in Brazil?
I think it's
Remember the old sock method?
Oh yeah, the old sock method.
Yeah.
It's also a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of coffee for a cup of water, and they just boil the water, but really don't boil. Just get the water hot, and then put on that filter. It's cloth filter, or you can have the paper and just put the water in it. You can put in a garage, not garage, but a thermos.
A thermos, yeah.
Yeah. That's how we normally do it.
That's how we do it.
Although every time I make it home, nobody likes it because I make it very strong with no sugar. And they put water, like double the water for them.
And they like it a lot sweeter.
They put lots of sweet on them. And when I lived there, they used to put the sugar in the water and make the coffee. When I moved to Sao Paulo, I changed that. No sugar, and I just add the sugar afterwards. I used to drink with sugar, that not anymore. Just coffee.
There you go. Well, thank you. So that was the Melita brand that you just made, or the Pilão? Okay. Yes. So there's a Melita brand. You can get it on Amazon. I believe Cesar's going to try and put a link in the chat box there if anybody's interested. David says the darker the coffee, the better. So there you go. Deanna, I'm getting a lot of chat going on here, so if you want to help me monitor that, if I get an important question, let me know. Okay.
Just answering about the cheese bread. You can also buy that on Amazon.
Oh yeah, the cheese bread sometimes we have a little cheese bread, Brazilian cheese bread, as we're working here. And can you find a link to that and put that up maybe? Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about today. It's the first day of the year. We just went through Christmas, and so I put out a little blurb on social media this week saying, hey, if anybody got any tools or jigs or anything and you want to discuss them or you have a question about that, then go ahead and put that in the chat box there and we'll talk about it. I also have some tools I'm going to talk about. I'm going to hit a button here, and if you'll look, you'll see a drill press, two drill presses there, and you'll probably see me in the upper right-hand corner there of the screen. I got a drill press for Christmas, and I love it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. There's one thing I absolutely hate about it, though. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, too. So in a little bit, I'll walk over there to the other part of the shop, and I'll show you the old drill press. We'll talk about it, and I'll talk about the new features on the new drill press that I got. We're also going to talk about these tools here. These are called scraper planes, and I've got two of them. I got a smaller version, a larger version, and of course I got your traditional card scraper. And I'm going to talk about how to sharpen the scraper plane. It's a fantastic tool and really works well. Also, however, it's sometimes a little difficult to sharpen, so we got to talk about that. Dan, keep an eye on the chat group there.
Yes, I'm just answering one, and then I'll go back to that.
Okay, all right, good. Also, I put out a video this week, 3 ways to control dust in your shop. And the response on that has been overwhelming. And that's really been on my mind lately. So heck, why don't we start with that? Before I do that, let me start with something else. You're on YouTube right now. So go ahead and click the subscribe button. Then go ahead and click that little bell icon. That way the numbers go up as far as the number of subscribers I have. Also, you will get notified when I go live. So you'll never miss any information that I offer here at O'Brien Guitar. So make sure you go ahead and do that. So let's talk about dust. I put out a video this week, 3 ways to control dust. It's on YouTube. You can search it and find it. O'Brien Guitars, 3 ways to control dust in your shop. And the 3 ways that I discussed is, first of all, you want to try and do it at the source. And that usually means some type of dust extractor. If it's a shop vac hooked up to the tool, if it's a single stage dust collector hooked up to the tool, if it's a full-fledged cyclone hooked up to the dust collector hooked up to the tool, you need something to try and collect it at its source. That's the best way to collect dust, is at the source. Years ago, I went out and bought a big 5 horsepower cyclone dust collector system and hooked it up with all the ductwork around the shop, and that does a great job of collecting the majority of it right from the tool. However, there's always something that gets up in the air. And so I went with a mask, especially over by my sanding station where I'm just generating sawdust, not necessarily from a tool, but just even hand sanding. And I use this little mask right here. I showed this in the video the other day. I'll even put it on. Very easy to put on. And you can even make videos as you wear it. It's that comfortable. No, I'm kidding. It's very comfortable. It's made by RZ Mask. I think Cedric can put a link there somewhere in the chat box. Let me see if I can hit number 2 here. We can maybe show this a little better here. It's got an inner filter system, and this is the heart of any mask, is the filter. And this filter is all the way down to 0.1 micron. It's got a nice little foam part here that goes across the bridge of the nose. It's got a metal clip on the outside filter that will clip and conform around the part of the nose. It's got the Velcro here in the back. Makes it very easy to run. You're not dealing with elastic straps and stuff, over your top of your head and bumping your glasses off, stuff like that. It's got one-way exhalers here that you swap those out when you change the inner membrane there, the inner filter. It's fantastic, comfortable to wear. I've been using it for 2-3 years now, and I put a link to it in that video, and a lot of guys have said they've enjoyed that and are using it now. So I do recommend something. You got to have something, some type of mask, and the N95s were just not cutting it for me anymore. They're always fogging up the glasses, so you have to make a choice. Do I want to breathe, or do I want to see what I'm doing? So there's an option for you. Third option is above my camera here, and I can't show it to you. It's a big Powermatic air filter cleaner, and I'm not a big fan of those unless you get good filters. Now, in the video I put out the other day, I said they go all the way down, the filter membrane goes all the way down to 0.1 microns. It does not. I think it only goes down to like 0.3, but better than nothing. Some people have even used box fans with furnace filters in front of them. That is a direct no-no. Do not do that, because that doesn't filter all that fine dust out of the air. And it's more dangerous than if you had nothing, because it's circulating all of that fine dust up and throughout the air as you're working, and you're going to breathe that stuff. So do not use a box fan with the furnace filter. That's the poor man's way of doing it, but it's not a very smart way of doing it. So those are the 3 ways to control dust. Looks like we have a question here, Adriana.
How do you thickness sand bone saddles?
How do I thickness sand bone saddles? I've got
That's from Mike Brown.
I've got a big thickness sander. I have the luthier's friend. I don't use it very often because I have to stop and set it up on the drill press. I have a thickness sander that I had made for me when I was living in Brazil. Heck, I might even be able to show you that. Give me just a second here. I'm going to have to go off camera, and I got another camera. I'm going to point to that tool. So give me just a second, and I'll do that. And then, Adriana, I want you to hit camera number 3 when I say to, okay? So hang on just a second. What's that? Yeah. Okay, let me just get a camera set up over here. I wasn't planning on showing this tool, that's why I wasn't ready here. Okay, Adriana, can you go ahead and just hit camera number 3? There we go. All right, this is a thickness sander. I had this made when I was living in Brazil. It's just an 8-inch pipe that I found in a junkyard and took to a guy, and he trued it up on a lathe. Then we took it to another guy and put some weights on it and balanced it. And then I had a guy build me a frame for it, with a shelf under it, and you raise and lower the shelf to determine the amount of thickness. And what I do is I take the bone nut or saddle and just push it through here like this, making sure that I'm standing off to the side, because if it gets cross-threaded, it's coming out like a missile, which occasionally happens. So I just push it through there and then reach around and pull it out the back side. That gets it extremely close, and I fine-tune it on a piece of MDF with sandpaper. Now, as long as we're over here talking about this tool, I had the person that made it for me also put a disc on the side here, so that I can sand bone nuts and saddles to the correct width here on the side. And then after using it for a while, I figured out that I needed to buff finishes, and so I had him put a buffing wheel on the back side here, and I just change out the belt here, and that operates that. All right, Adriana, can you go ahead and get camera 1 again, please? Thank you. And walking back over here to camera 1, and hey, it's magic, I'm back. All right, keep an eye on the questions there for me.
Yeah, so that's the
So that was a bonus topic. I wasn't planning on talking about that, so hopefully you found that useful.
What hand plane would you recommend for the shooting board use? That's Michael Buckler.
That's a great question. Okay, what plane do you recommend to use with shooting board? I imagine you're using it for joining the top and the back. Let me show you what I have. And let's see, I can probably get close up on it down here. This is the Lee Nelson low angle jack plane. And in my opinion, this is the best bang for the buck on the market, because you can get 2 or 3 different blades for it and use it for a shooting board. You can use it for a smoothing plane, use it for a jack plane, use it for a lot of different things. And so that's what I use. However, most of the students have come and studied with me. You'll notice I don't use that very often for joining plates. Let me show you what I use, and it's down here. I use this. This is just a precision leveling bar or sanding bar. I'm not sure how LMI has it listed on their site. And I just attach some sandpaper to it, and I use that to come in and just sand that edge. Now, you want to give yourself a fighting chance, so I usually run it across my power joiner just to get the joint close, and then I come in and I true it up just with a few passes with sandpaper, and that works just as good, if not better, than using a hand plane. Now, if you got a lot of work to do and you don't have a power joiner, then you're going to need a hand plane. So there we go. All right, how are we doing the questions here, Adriana?
Yeah, I have more.
All right, go ahead. Well, they're getting me sidetracked here, which I guess is a good thing, because I got some topics I want to talk about here. But by the way, also put in that chat box there, I'm interested in hearing about your New Year's resolutions. What do you guys got planned for this year? You got anything on the bench? Go ahead and put that in the chat box too, and we can enjoy talking about that. What's the other question there, Adriana?
I cannot say his last name. How are you? I have a question about the sides of the guitar. Can I cut the sides high, level after I put them in the mold? Is it possible? Thank you.
All right, so if I understand the question correctly, you want to leave them higher than what they need to be, and then take them down once they're in the mold after they're bent. That's fine, if I understand the question correctly. In my online course, I show pre-tapering, and then and then you have less work to do. It's kind of like shooting pool. I mean, when you shoot pool, you're not thinking just about that shot, you're thinking about the next shot, and you save a little bit of time. You know, if you pre-taper them before you bend them, it's going to save me 5 or 10 minutes, you know, if I had to do it later. And in my classes, you know, I build a guitar in 6 days with guys, 30 to 35 hours spread out over 6 days. And every 5 or 10 minutes that we can save here or there, by the end of the week, you know, it adds up to a half day. So, you know, pick your poison, do it before, do it after. I don't think it matters. Okay.
Okay, so there are some New Year's resolution. David Trum.
Make my first steel string guitar, look at that. Well, I look forward to pictures, David. Send them over. Be sure and post them on the forum, too, because I know you just joined the forum. New Year's resolution, finish my first guitar build. A neck reset on a 52 Harmony archtop. Way to go. Wow. Very good. New Year's resolution, keep all my fingers. Then again, it can only happen 10 times. That's a good one, Raymond. Purchase what is that? Shapeco. Oh, CNC. That's interesting. I get a lot of questions on CNC. Well, let's just say that I got a little surprise for a little later on in the year about CNC. I'll keep it at that. Okay.
Ramon mentioned that he liked the Veritas scrape plane too.
Oh, okay. The Veritas. The Veritas. The Veritas scraper plane. Yeah, also very good plane. There was something I'm going to say about. Oh, somebody asked me the other day about an update on something that I announced previous to this stream, and that's a couple of new courses coming out. The violin making course. So here's an update on the violin making course. I've been working for the last 6 or 8 months with a luthier in Cremona, Italy, named Lucas Fabru. He's a fantastic luthier. Everything done by hand tools. The finish work is traditional finishing. I'm on chapter 14 of the editing, and I've got 2 more chapters to go. So hopefully, you know, February, first part of March, I could make that available. And also I've been working on inlay with Larry Robinson. That's going to come out. Jeff Jewett, we also have a course coming out about wet sanding and leveling made simple. So a lot of good things in the works there.
Lutherie de Pobre, he said that his is to build an all bamboo guitar.
Oh, okay.
Just for the fun of it.
All bamboo guitar. That was it Paco, buddy of mine that did the flamenco guitar building course with me in Spain, Paco Chorobo. I think he did one either out of all eucalyptus or all bamboo, engineered wood. So I'm not sure which one he did, but he's done that. It turned out fantastic. No love for the fubá cake. Oh, we don't have any bolo de fubá today. Sorry about that. Wondering how it can be adapted to guitar making. What is that? What could be adapted? Italians do it better. There's Francesco. What's a good carving duplicator? You know, I looked into that years ago when I was teaching a university level course up at the college on lutherie, and I think it was called Duplicarver, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the brand name. We never actually pulled the trigger on it, but we were looking at getting one for the mandolin class and the violin class that was being taught up there to help rough out those plates a little quicker.
Larry's going to finish a parlor guitar.
Oh, okay. Parlor guitar.
Last year, and it's based on the late Ted Davis gal plan for a Martin 118.
Wow, fantastic. Wow, you guys got some great ideas, some great plans. So I look forward to getting pictures throughout the year here. All right, let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk about that drill press I got sitting over there that I got this year. Let's go over and talk about it, and I'll explain what I don't like. I'll explain what I do like. So I'm going to go ahead and hit camera number 4. When I tell you, you hit camera number 3 for me, okay? All right, so here I am walking over here to across the shop to camera number 4. And there we go. Hey, I'm at camera number 4. This is the old drill press. This is a Delta. There's a story behind this. When I left Brazil, let's see, I left there in 2000 and moved to the States. I sold all of my tools there. I got to the States. The next day I got off the plane, got some sleep, and the next day I went out and bought all of my tools back. And I bought a drill press. This is just a 12-inch bench top model made by Delta. It's not even made anymore. Delta doesn't make drill presses anymore. And I think I paid either $90 or $99 for this reconditioned. I was a big spender. And I get this question a lot. Hey, what kind of drill press or what size drill press do I need for lutherie? Well, I use this for over 20 years now. And it did everything I asked it to do. It was a fantastic tool. The only reason I upgraded is because Jet had a sale and the bearings are starting to go bad in this thing. It's still working fine. It just makes some noise. There's no run out in the spindle or anything. It's still a great tool. It may last another 20 years. It may die tomorrow. I don't know, but I couldn't take that chance. Jet was having a sale on their tools, and so I went ahead and purchased it. So let's talk about the big Jet that I got here. As you can tell, it's a lot bigger. I mean, it's as tall as me. I've got it sitting on a cart with wheels on it, but compared to the other one here, it's quite a bit taller. My wife says it looks like a big mixer, like you would see in a bakery or something. But who knows? Maybe we'll get a cake or two out of it. But there's a few things I like about it. The first thing I did is I got it out put together, and it took me, my wife, and my daughter to lift it up here onto the stand. It's a beast. It's pretty big. It's probably overkill for what I need it to do for lutherie. But the first thing I did was check to see the level of the table here. And I got this little tool here. I'm going to try and bring this camera over here at the end, and you hit camera 3 when I ask you to, please. Nope, not just yet. Let me just get this set up so they don't get dizzy here. All right, go ahead and hit camera 3 for me. We good? All right, so the first thing I did is I put this little tool, I got this from LMI years ago, and I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but it's a little dial caliper here, and you just put it in your chuck, and you spin it around, and that tells you how level your table is. So the first thing I did is put this in here. Let's go ahead and zero it out. And then I spun it around to the front side of the table here, and the table goes up about 8 thousandths of an inch. Then I spun it around over here, and it's dead nuts on right out of the box. It's not tilting one way or the other. But then I went over here, and it's a negative 10 thousandths. So I've got about a 20 thousandths difference front to back. Probably not a big issue because, you know, most people don't use big bits. It's just a small drill bit. However, I use the safety planer in this thing, so it could cause me a little bit of issue. Nothing that I can't overcome, though. So that's the first thing I did. And I like that about it. Hit camera 4 again, please, Adriana. There we go. So, yes, sir.
I need to let you know something. Nightbot was timing out people for using capitals.
Okay.
And apparently Romans, they only use capitals.
Okay.
So 2 people were timed out for 600 seconds, and I can't untime them out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
all right.
Wait 600 seconds, they'll come back, no problem.
Can we cut that off? Turn top.
I stopped it.
Okay.
Fan cap.
So it won't happen again.
It won't happen.
Okay, thank you. So if you got timed out, I got a little program running behind the scenes there. If you got timed out on it, then I'm sorry. But here in a few minutes, should be able to get back in. All right, so the table, a little bit larger than the one I had, and level, pretty good out of the box. I'm pretty happy with that. The has a little bigger handles here to pull it down. Also, the stop, you can set the stop here pretty easily. I'm pretty happy with that mechanism. I do like this feature. It has a light. That's pretty cool. The other one didn't have a light, and sometimes a little hard to see what's going on. It also has a laser. Now, you know, a laser is one of those kind of things like, you know, do you need it or you do not need it? I probably don't. The only thing I don't like about this laser is it's not quite bright enough. You have to really look close to see the crosshairs on there. So that could be a problem. If you turn the light on, you can't see the laser. You got to turn the light off to see the laser. Okay. To change the speed on it, you got to open up the top up here. Now, good thing I'm tall, because look how tall this sucker is. Now, part of it's my fault. I've got it on a rolling cart here. They sell this, though, as a benchtop model. So if it were on a regular bench, I mean, this would be quite high. It's got 2 belts in there, and the pulleys are like this, one above the other. And so sometimes you have to take this belt off to get this belt on top and then put this one back on. So that's kind of a nuisance. The other one over here didn't have quite as many speeds, and it just had, you know, single pulleys and 1 belt in there, which, by the way, I had to change last year, and I couldn't find it. They don't make it anymore. Finally went to a lawn and garden center and bought me one for a lawnmower, and it works. So I've got that issue here. I have to, you know, swap the belts off and fiddle fart around up there. That's a technical term. That's okay. Let me show you the thing I do not like about this. And when I tell you, you can hit camera 3 again, Adriana. Okay. See, you can tell that this is a team effort here. I got the whole family involved here with the production work here. So give me just a minute to get this ready to go. Get this camera set up. All right, go ahead and hit camera 3. All right, this is what I absolutely hate about this machine. Here is to loosen, and this is to raise it up and down. But they're on the same damn side. Jet, what were you thinking? Look at that. Now, most people can, you know, they're not doing precise enough work that they have to park it right there. They can park it here out of the way. However, if I'm using the safety planner to thickness back and sides, I sometimes need to park it in a pretty precise location. Now look, I can't get in there to tighten that thing very easily because this is in the way. That was a terrible design. I don't know what they were thinking. Adriana, hit camera 4 again, please. Adriana, hit camera 4, please. That way they don't get dizzy as I move my camera around here. Let me show you the old Delta that I had here. Remember, this was the $90 or $99 one. I don't remember which one. Camera 3, please. Look at that. You loosen it. The handle's on the other side. You tighten it. That is a great design. I don't know what Jet was thinking. We're putting both of them on the same side. Terrible design. All right, go ahead and hit me camera 1 again, please. Here I come walking back over to camera 1. All right, so that's the big major tool purchase I got for Christmas. And, you know, I'm happy I did it. It was time to upgrade. But, you know, that design just, when I saw that, I just started laughing. I said, you got to be kidding. You know, they have people that go to school for engineering to do that kind of stuff. So.
There's a question. What's a good carbon duplicator? I don't know if you went over this one. I don't think so.
I did go over that one.
You did?
I think the name of the one was Duplicarver. I think that's the one I was looking at.
Okay.
But that's been 10 years ago. Okay.
There, from Daniel H. Hi, Robert. Is there a benefit to mahogany or cedar braces on the top of the guitar? Thanks.
Mahogany or cedar on top of the guitar? Yes. I don't use either. On the top of the guitar, I use spruce. Now, whether it be Sitka spruce, Engelmann spruce, you know, whatever, pick your poison, I don't think it matters. However, mahogany and cedar on the top, I don't use those. You need to go get Trevor Gore's books on the design and of the instrument and modal tuning, and he talks about how to measure density and properties of the wood. Cedar, Western red cedar is very light. However, you probably have to use it in conjunction with carbon fiber to keep it from creeping. Mahogany, I think, is a bit too heavy. So I use spruce. That's what I traditionally use. Okay, another question?
Gahesh said he's going to build an archtop with walnut back inside.
Oh, archtop with walnut. That would be beautiful. Wow. Megan Wells is doing some fantastic work out there. She works at LMI, but she does some fantastic, beautiful archtops where she uses like Indian rosewood back and sides, and then like a spruce top or something. And just gorgeous work, and her finish work is impeccable and beautiful. Go check out her work. Very nice. Okay.
Johnny P. Bracing for my first acoustic steel string. Scalloped versus non-scalloped. That's quite a question.
Scalloped versus non-scalloped? Yes. I don't think it matters. I've stopped scalloping the braces on my steel string guitars. I just make them like a boat ramp now, and I keep the X brace from going all the way into the lower bout. I keep it short. Basically what it all boils down to is stiffness and looseness. Now, if you get the correct amount of stiffness or looseness that you want for your instrument and for the tone that you want, be it scalloped, unscalloped, flat across the top, rounded across the top, pyramided across the top, whatever you want to do, I think in the end, the final equation boils down to how much mass is on there and how loose that top is or how stiff that top is. I saw another question here is, can you move the handle to the other side? I don't think I can. It's already thread and everything for that right side, so it'd probably be a pretty major surgery to have to move it over. Somebody says he's seen Megan's site. Yes, it's very beautiful. Take a trip out there to Megan's site. Friendly reminder that we have a giveaway later today. That's from Cesar. To participate in the drawing, follow the pin linked at the top of this chat. That's right. Thank you, Cesar, down there in Brazil, monitoring my chat for me. If you want to be eligible for the drawing, then you have to go ahead and click on that link. Type in your name and your email address. That way we know who to randomly draw. We have a little app that we've got that's going to randomly draw from all of these people that are entering. And I'm going to be giving away one of my sharpening online courses. Work sharp, folks. It's important. Okay, Cesar, down there in Brazil, how many people have filled out that form yet? How many people have signed up for the free drawing there? Let me know. Jim Kirby, hi from Delaware. How you doing, Jim? Welcome aboard. Don't forget, subscribe, click on the bell icon.
More questions.
More questions. All right, go ahead and give me a couple more, then I'll get into these sharpeners here.
Only dust. Can you recommend a glue to for attaching leather to wood?
Leather to wood. Yes. It depends on what you're using it for. I like fish glue, hide glue, stuff like that. If you're a little more structural or you have high humidity areas, I would probably go with some type of poly glue or something, polyurethane. Even CA glue would probably work. Okay, go ahead.
Viren Lemire, I don't know if I'm saying the name right. In the Venetian cutaway course.
Oh no, my battery is low on the computer. Get me. I forgot to get your AC adapter.
Okay, let me just get that.
Sorry, folks, I forgot to get the AC adapter. Crisis mode. Then grab that AC adapter for me, please. And we're going to plug this thing in because I just got a little thing saying that my battery is going low. Cesar says we've got 36 entries so far. Fantastic. Good deal. TJ Slick, what's happening? I don't know. Hopefully nothing technically going on with this thing. Adelina's going to grab my AC adapter here. We're going to plug this in real quick. I'm also going to show you how to sharpen these scraper planes here in just a second. We've been talking about the giveaway. Make sure that you click on the little pinned message at the top of the chat box there. There's a little Google Drives form there. Put in your name, your email address. That way we know who to give the course to. We're going to be giving away one of my sharpening courses. We're also talking about New Year's resolutions. Put in the chat box there. I'm interested in seeing what everybody's going to be doing this year. Also, don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel, O'Brien Guitars YouTube channel, and click on the bell icon. It's very important if you want to be notified. Oh, here comes the AC adapter. All right, let's get that sucker. Let's get it plugged in over there. Sorry, folks, I forgot to plug in the AC adapter, and we're running on a low battery here. Where does this get plugged in?
This side.
Where?
Here.
All right, disaster avoided, folks. We're back up and running. All right, maybe you could lengthen the shaft on the handle. I think that wouldn't solve my problem. Happy New Year from Vermont, from Dennis. Reboot the flux capacitor. Well, actually, we got my son outside on a bike. He's pedaling as fast as he can to keep the generator going. All right, let's talk about scraper planes. For years, I used this, and I still do use this. This is just a traditional cabinet scraper. This can be your best friend or your worst enemy, like most hand tools. If they're sharpened properly and set up properly, they're a dream to work with. If they're not properly set up and tuned, then they can be your worst enemy and they wind up working against you. Now the cabinet scraper is pretty rough on the thumbs, the knuckles, and creates a bunch of friction and stuff. And so it makes a man out of you in a hurry to use one of these things. I occasionally get students in here who have some pretty serious arthritis or carpal tunnel issues, and they can't use this for long periods of time. So I've got a couple of scraper planes that I have in my shop here. And basically, a scraper plane is just, the blade is almost perpendicular here to the sole, and it works just like a scraper. And to sharpen these things, I get that question a lot. How do you sharpen this? So I'm going to show you real quick. There's a couple ways how to do this. I'm just going to take one out here. So there's the blade, and you put a 45-degree angle on it. So just hone it like you normally would. Flatten the back when you get it, flatten the back of the tool, then come in and hone your primary bevel at 45 degrees. And I don't put a secondary bevel on at that point. I just hone it at 45 degrees. And you can use it just like that. However, some people prefer to put a burr on it, just like you would a regular scraper. And let me show you how I do that. I'm going to hit camera 1 here, or camera 2. And so here's my plane blade, and I'm going to come in and just put it in my vise, right, like so. And then just come in with a burnishing tool. And when you do this, start at 45, that's what your primary bevel is. And just come in and run it across the tool like that. And then gently roll it down a little bit until you get to about maybe a 70, 75 degree angle. And that rolls just a little bit of a burr on the back side of that tool. And it's going to cut just a little bit more aggressively. If you want to just hone the primary bevel at 45, that will work fine. If you want a little more aggressive cut, then you can, hone or roll a burr over it just like you would a regular scraper. Now, the the bird's pretty aggressive on this one, so let's see what it's going to do. Let's put it back inside here. And this one comes in from the bottom of the tool. And I just put it right on my bench like that. Just let it kind of sit right on the table. And then just tighten it up so it's held into place. And that should do it. Now let's see if I can just put something on the bench here. Oh, here's something right down here. How about this? This is a piece of Brazilian rosewood. Love me some smells from Brazilian rosewood. And then you come in and just run this just like a regular plane across the wood. And you can see that the shavings are coming off there. And so it's just working like a regular scraper would. And it really, for fine tuning and really smoothing, heck, you could go right to a finish with that. And then if you want to fine tune it, you could set one up for a little more aggressive cut, and if you get another one, you can come in with a little finer cut just to kind of smooth it off a little bit. But I really love these little scraper planes. Oh, by the way, here's another little trick. If you take a little bit of paraffin, just wipe on the bottom of the sole of your hand planes, they slide a lot easier across your work surface, less friction. So that works really well. There's a little trick for you there. There you go. All right, how are we doing with questions there? Hi, David, from a long time ago, Rodriguez course participant. There you go, David Schramm, Jim Kirby's been doing that for 27 years. John Gilbert showed me the son-in-law makes them now. Good. I got one based on your lesson, but a thickness planer arrived later. How did you like the Italian Alpine top Simone picked out for you to pick from? Oh, okay, that's Joseph Jenkins. That must be Chris Jenkins' son. Hey, how you doing, Joseph? Glad you could tune in. What he's talking about is Chris and Joseph down from Lame Horse Guitars down there in Texas. They're very into the data part of the wood selection process. Now, most of your tone woods out there, and we can talk about this on the 9th with Chris Herod when I do the next stream, and the tone woods. Most of your tone woods are graded visually, not tonally. And so Chris Jenkins and a couple of other students that have studied, taken the Trevor Gore class that I've offered here in my shop in the past, have come up with some formulas and stuff that they've done to really evaluate tonally the wood. And so they get the Young's modulus and the density and all that kind of stuff. And they've shared this formula with a friend in Italy named Simone. And Simone is a PhD in physics or something, I don't know. But he lives near a tone wood dealer named Rivolta. And so he went over to Rivolta and picked out 100 tops and then put them through the selection process. And all of these tops were master grade. Put them through the selection process, and half of them were returned based on their criteria. And I was fortunate enough to order a dozen of those tops that had gone through the selection process. In the future, I've talked about maybe perhaps having Simone on one of the live streams here and talking about the selection process and the criteria that he goes through. If you think that that's a good idea, let me know in the chat group there, or in the chat box there, and we'll see if we can do that. Question, Adriana.
Cesar says that there's 36 entries so far. I don't know if you've seen.
Yes, I did see that. 36 entries, and we're getting pretty close here to about time to do the drawing. So I'm going to give you just a couple more minutes. Click on that little pinned notice at the top there that takes you to a link. You put in your name and your email address, and you will be automatically enrolled for the sharpening course drawing, which I'm going to do here in just a few minutes. So get ready down there in Brazil, Cesar.
So David said that he thickens his tops and braces. Did you see this one? Braces and bridges, back sides, veneers, fingerboards, nuts, saddles, necks on my drill press using a Gilbert thickness.
Yes, yeah. Is that even available anymore? Gilbert used to make this sanding disc. It's kind of like the safety planer, but it had sandpaper on it, and you put them through there and do that. Yeah, that's fantastic. That works. LMI for a period of time was making something similar to that. I think they've discontinued it. Oh, look at that. Jonatas in Brazil said now that the scraper plane is on his list. Loving your videos, Steve Brown. Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. If you guys ever have any topics that you would like to see addressed in these live streams, send me an email. Let me know. Oh, that reminds me. I did get a question from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This was from Bruce Jones. It's about hide glue. He got a glue pot and some hide glue for Christmas. So congratulations there, Bruce. And his question is, can he reuse that? He's mixed some up, he's used it, and at the end of the day, he didn't use it all. Can he use it again the next day? And the answer is yes. Some people use that for several days or even weeks. At some point, though, it's going to go bad and start to stink pretty bad. But yeah, you can use it for several days. Here's a little tip for you, though. If you put it in the freezer or in the refrigerator at night, it will extend the shelf life of it. I think it was from Frank Ford that I learned the trick of mixing up little batches of hide glue and then putting it in an ice cube tray, putting it in the freezer. And then if I need, a little bit of hide glue, I already have it mixed up. I pop one of those out and then heat it, and I've got just enough glue to do the repair or whatever I'm working on. So, okay.
Jeff Smith, I have a nice chocobolo.
Cocobolo, huh?
Cocobolo, yeah, cocobolo.
Yeah.
Back in a side set has been sitting in my shop for about 10 years. I noticed that the sides have worked in a few places. Anything I can do about that?
Say that again?
Okay. I noticed that the sides have worked in a few places.
They're already bent, right?
Yeah.
If it's ripples across the grain, that's fairly common as you use heat and moisture to bend. So what most people do there is either laminate the sides to completely eliminate that, or leave it thick enough you can sand the majority of that out. Wood's a natural product. It's going to do what it's going to do. So if you have a few ripples, chalk it up to nature. If they've twisted a little bit, this way, well, I'd have to see them. I have been known to whip out a bending iron, an electric bending iron, and touch it up and make sure that it fits a little better. But if you can get it into the form and the clamps keep it up against the sides, then you're probably good to go ahead and move forward.
And a shout out from Danny Triplet, a shout out to my friend Tony Rice, who passed Christmas morning.
Yes. Sorry to hear that. Can you please discuss binding channels? I've seen the route tower and guitar cradle arrangement, but that takes a lot of space. Is there a practical, simpler way? I have problems with the bearing kit. Okay, yes. There's a couple of different ways to cut binding channels. Well, you can do it by hand. The old timers did it for years. I've done it. I have a video out there to show you how to do it by hand. Other than that, there's a couple of ways that binding channel jigs or cutters work. One is the router is stationary and the guitar moves. The other is the guitar is stationary and the router moves. And I used to have one of those. I think it was Harry Fleischman or Tom Rebecca that kind of attributed to the design of that. I used to have one of those and I gave it away because it took up a lot of space. It came out on the big drawer slides and is cumbersome. I now use the LMI binding cutting jig, and it's just a small tower with a router, and it's got your donut in there, like all of these to cancel out your radius on your top and back. And that way it's stationary and the guitar moves around it. That's what I use. You're locked into using the rabbit cutting bits though for the channels, and those are quite expensive. The only way around that is maybe do it by hand. I think there are a couple of other jigs out there that factories used to use where you can make a jig. I think Elevate, Chris Enzer has one where you clamp the laminate trimmer horizontally and the body's this way and you spin it around this way. And that's another option. Is the Venetian cutaway course, in the Venetian cutaway course there was a slot cut into the mold for the cutaway side. How far away from the center line is that slot? Well, it's how far away from the center line you need for the width of the neck to be. So figure out what the width of your neck needs to be, and then calculate the width of that side, and that's where it should be. Okay, and mine's a little larger, so there's a little wiggle room in there. Is the mortise and tenon neck joint worth the extra effort over a bolt-on neck? Well, the mortise and tenon neck joint that I do is a bolt-on neck. It's a straight mortise and tenon, and I use the neck angle jig that I get from LMI to do that. I don't use the dovetail because I think that complicates things much more than you need to. I mean, life's too short, right? However, there are people that swear that dovetails, the bee's knees. I just do straight sides on the mortise and tenon and bolt it on. I don't glue it on. I just glue the fretboard on. Okay, Robbie, have you ever used the Veritas string inlay scraper for thinning veneers for rosette making? I haven't. I've heard about that though. What I use is a tool that I learned from Jose Romanitos when I was in Spain. I'll even pull it out here for you. It's just a DIY veneer thicknesser. It's just a plain blade, and you make this little apparatus here, clamp it in your bench vise, and just pull them through there like that. That's what I use, and that seems to work pretty good. I know that Veritas and Lee Nielsen, I think, have veneer thicknessers out there. Let's see. My own version of the LMI router jig works great. Okay. Is the Brazilian coffee for espresso machine? No, it's not. No, it's for a regular. It's a very fine powder, and you use a regular coffee filter, and you can make it as strong as you want, obviously. But I wouldn't put it in the small espresso machines. Okay, well, we're almost to the end of the hour here, and I try and keep these things under an hour to leave you guys wanting more. How many viewers we got on there? Is there any way to tell that?
97, 98.
97, 98 viewers. Well, thank you again for you folks for tuning in. Cesar, let me see if I can get him on the horn. Let's see if we can get him. He's got a little app that he's created down there that will randomly, from the entries, will randomly will select a winner for us. So let me just see if I can get him on. Let's see if maybe I can even show this here for you. I'm going to actually call him up on WhatsApp here. Let's see. Well, maybe there's not going to be a drawing today. He's not answering. Is the mortise a tendon neck joint the extra? No, we just answered that question. Where is Cesar? There he is. Cesar, how you doing?
Hello, fine.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can... There's Cesar down in Brazil. Cesar, você está pronto para fazer o sorteio?
Yes.
Okay, so we're ready for the drawing. How many people?
We have 56 people.
56 people. Okay, good. Well, wait a minute. We have 56 people, but we have 90-something watching. So some people didn't want to be in the drawing. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll that. Okay, is there some way to show your screen?
Yeah. Can you just give me a minute to close the entries and set up the table?
Okay, all right. So I'll give him just a minute. You let me know when you're ready. Other than I'm going to give you the phone.
Yes.
Okay, so you let me know when you're ready. Let's see. When just learning, how important is it to spend that extra money for the best in tone wood? Good question. Well, people have made guitars from, oak pallets. Bob Taylor did that. Bob Benedetto made one out of a fish crab crate or something with all kinds of holes and stuff in it. So there's a lot of things you can do. I would learn how to build a basic box, good joinery and stuff before you start spending the big bucks. But, Indian rosewood's not that expensive. You can get a set for $60, $70. And if you're going to spend the money, I'd spend it on the top. However, I don't think I'd go master grade. Not even 4A. 3A, I think, is more than optimum for a very good guitar. So the 3A top will run you $50 or $60. So don't go out and get the Brazilian rosewood. Every now and then I get a student that wants to show up with $5,000 of material, and I'm thinking, whoa, I think we should do basic math before we do algebra. Because if you break a side, it could be a bad day. So don't go spend a lot of money in the beginning. I don't think it's necessary. At what point in a builder's career does that degree of specialty become important? Tone for tops? Yeah, I just answered that question. We're ready to go? All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to try and hold this up to the camera here. And there we go. We got how many people? 56?
56.
All right, go ahead and roll the program. Let's see what happens. What it's done is assigned a number for all of the entries, and it's going to choose a number, and then we'll know what name corresponds to that number.
54.
Was it number 54? All right, who's number 54? TJ Sponik, S-P-O-N-I-K. S-P-O-N-I-K. And since this is digital media, I can, give it to anybody in the world. If it were like an actual product, I wouldn't be able to ship it outside the United States. But TJ Sponik is the winner. And I tell you what, TJ, go ahead and just, acknowledge this in the chat box so that we know that you're still online here. If not, we're going to choose another person. So where's TJ? TJ, you got just a couple of seconds here to go ahead and put something in the chat box. If not, we're going to go ahead and choose somebody else. We'll give him just a minute here. Somebody's asking about, does bear claw affect the sound of the top? Some people believe it does.
There he is. That's me. It's just the answer.
Who's that? Where's that?
TJ Slick.
That's me. Oh, TJ Slick. There you go. Congratulations. Way to go. You have won the what am I giving away? Oh, the sharpening course. The sharpening course. Send me an email to robert@o'brienguitars.com, and I'll go ahead and get you hooked up to that. And let's see, I was asking, I was answering a question there. What was I answering about? Oh, bear claw. Bear claw, it's one of those things that people love or hate. There's usually no middle of the road. So know your customer. Make sure that they are okay with having the bear claw. Now, Jose Romanitos taught me that bear claw generally is stiffer, and stiffer wood is better in his opinion. So that's why he uses it, not necessarily for the decorative aspect of it. Cesar, you still there?
Yes.
You know, I'm feeling generous today. You want to give away something else?
Yes.
Okay. I tell you what, how many people do we have online now? Is there a way to see that?
I don't know, but
We have
There's
almost
98
100
people,
people,
so-
97 people.
97 people. Wow, I tell you what, 97 people need to get a life. Holy cow.
You should be the first person to do a $1 super chat. It's a free card.
No, here's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to do one more giveaway. I'm going to give away one of my audio books. Okay? So I'm going to hold this up to the camera again there. Is there a way to reset that thing and do it again? Or you just push generate again?
I can just generate another button.
All right, so I'm going to hold it up to the camera here, and then you hit generate, and let's see what comes up.
Let's see. And we have number 3.
Number 3, boy, that's one of the first ones. Who was number 3?
Gary Hirsch.
Gary Hirsch, Garyhersch. Gary, come on down. You're the next contestant. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to give you one of my audiobooks that I wrote during the COVID this year. I didn't write it, actually. It's an audiobook, right?
well, you wrote in order to have that.
Well, a little bit. Most of it's just off the top of my head. I wrote down topics that over the years I've collected of stories from teaching at the university, teaching privately, and things that have happened to me. And I wrote down a list of topics, and then I just ad-libbed the audiobook. And so it's about 2.5 hours long, if I'm not mistaken. And so you are going to get the audiobook, and it looks like he's already acknowledged that. Thanks, look at that. All right, Gary, so what you need to do is send me an email, robert@o'brienguitars.com. It's easier if you have already subscribed or have a login on my website, o'brienguitars.com. If you already have a login or have an account there, it's easy for me to go in behind the scenes and flip the switch. So make sure you have the login. Gary gets the audiobook, and TJ gets the sharpening course. There we go. Let's see, any more announcements here? Next week, Saturday, January 9th, 3 p.m., we're going to have Chris Herod from LMI. He's going to be the next victim here, and I'm going to interview him, and you're going to interview him as well about anything tonewood related. We talked about how to sharpen scraper planes. We talked about the drill press and what I absolutely do not like about this drill press. It doesn't bug me enough. I'm not going to take it back. I am going to work with it, but what a golden opportunity to have a great tool, and a little design messed it up. Chuck, you got a question?
Yes.
What?
Tell them about the super chat function.
My son says to tell you about the super chat function.
Just so they know it's there.
Okay, so if you look down at the bottom of the chat box, there's a little smiley face emoji and a little dollar sign. My son has hooked that up for me. He says that's what gamers do. Well, I have no idea.
No, that's what everyone does.
All right, Chuck, that's what everyone does. So anyway, if you want to help keep the lights on here at O'Brien Guitars, if you're finding this information useful, if you click on that little thing, there's a way to throw a few bucks my way. And it helps, keep my wife and my son and the whole team here happy. We got Thiago, we got Adriana, we got Cesar down in Brazil. So it really is a team effort. So go ahead and, if you feel so inclined, throw a few bucks our way if you could.
And it'll show up on stream.
And it will show up on the stream, my son says. Okay, he's got it programmed there. Let's see, Bonnie Dust, Steve. Who was that? At yahoo.com. Somebody's sending me an email. What is that? What's that email address from? I don't recognize that as one of our winners. I don't know. Anyway, tune in next Saturday, January 9th, 3 p.m. We're going to be doing this again. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another giveaway. But certainly bring your questions about tone woods. All right. Subscribe to the O'Brien Guitars YouTube channel. Subscribe to the O'Brien Guitars newsletter. Happy New Year, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and I certainly appreciate it. Over and out. Tiago, I'm going to click end scene here.